Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janet. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. So while I'm busy doing other things throughout the day like work or chores, I do like to put on a show in the background for background noise. It's kind of my comfort thing. Or as I'm going to bed, I do like to watch a series. So it's really hard to record everything that I'm watching and edit it and show it to you guys. And this channel really is about forming communities about shows that we love. At least that's what I'm trying to do. So something that I grew up watching is that 70s show. Now recently they made a reboot called the 90s show. At first I was actually really excited. The 90s is very iconic. I myself was born in the 90s. So I was really looking forward to the 90s show because the 70s show I think did a really good job of portraying at least the stereotypes of the 70s show into an entertainment format. Now, with that being said, I was disappointed. I mean, I think I expected the same charisma as the first show, and I should have known that sequels, for the most part, aren't the best thing in the entire world. Now, if I had to rate this out of a 1 through 10, I honestly think it's maybe a 5. Honestly, after a few episodes, I really wasn't that interested anymore. The characters didn't pull me in as much, and it's pretty sad because I think there could have been a lot of potential. As we know, the 70s show lasted for quite a while. So in the very first episode, we get introduced to Leia. Leia is the daughter of Donna and Eric. So the family of 3 decided to go visit Red and Kitty, their grandparents. Leia, not wanting to go to space camp with her parents, finds a way to stay at her grandparents' Red and Kitty's house for the summer. Now, in this first episode, it was really cool. We did get to see a glimpse of Donna and Eric as parents, as well as Kelso and Jackie. And I think that was actually interesting. I love the part where Jackie and Kelso came in, and apparently they had been divorced several times and they're getting married again. And they have a son as well, who's a Kelso. Yeah. I do want to say that the highlight of the show, and I think what carried the show on its back, is Kitty and Red. 100%. The acting, the characters, how they're older, and how the show depicts that is beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Kitty, missing her house full of kids and love and loving her granddaughter, and Red, also missing that actually. He won't say it out loud. We know that, but I know he does miss the youth. Now, something I would really like to point out is that in the 70s show, everything about the set, to the characters, to their personalities, was the 70s. We saw bell bottoms, obviously the Circle, Star Wars, the Vista Cruiser, right? We saw all of that, and all of that was part of the 70s. Even the record store. Now, here in the 90s, it was less about kids living in that time. It almost seemed as if it was kids in today's time just remembering older things or trying to be vintage. That's kind of how it felt. For example, they did a one line about E.T. And then there was a little segment where Ozzy was trying to teach Kitty about the computer, which I think is a really big invention for the 90s. I mean, that was revolutionary. And it was just mostly used as almost as a sticker, like, hey, haha, this is the 90s, don't forget, rather than showing exactly how a character like that really would feel about a computer and discover it. I mean, there were moments where they just made little jokes about how Kitty would shut down the computer, trying to learn how to use it and get mail and whatnot. But this is still an everyday. After that episode, we never saw the computer again. Right? That was just like, oh, hey, remember the computers? Let's just go ahead and put that in this one episode, and that's it. And another thing that didn't feel right with me was the Circle. The Circle was so iconic to that 70s show because it was the 70s, right? It was one of the era where a lot of people smoked weed. And in this show, it felt almost like a Disney sitcom. I said it, and not the good Disney. It was mostly where someone says a one-liner and then there's a laugh track. Someone says a word and then there's a laugh track. Someone breathes and then there's a laugh track. There's not really any depth to this. At one point, the main characters, Leia and Jay, had a romantic fling or were trying to figure out their feelings. And instead of having this slowly develop, it was from one day to the next. I like you. And then immediately the character, I don't like you. And that was it. Now with Eric and Donna, we saw how their relationship slowly built up. It was a very slow, like, I see this girl next door, she's kind of cool, like, oh hey, one day we touched hands. We got invested in the characters, whereas in the 90s show, it just didn't seem charismatic or deeper. But again, maybe this could be because I'm already older, and this show could be made for the younger audience now, to find, for them to have their connection compared to how we felt with that 70s show. I don't see how a younger audience would like the 90s show without knowing that 70s show. It's just, in comparison, it's not on the same level. So essentially we spent the first season with Leia as she begins to try and figure out who she is, and of course liking her first boy, getting her first kiss, getting her first boyfriend, which is Jay, who is a Kelso, so he's quote unquote a player. There were a couple of inconsistencies that just didn't add up. For example, in the first episode, we actually see Michael Kelso actually bragging about Jay that he has straight A's, and then later on he doesn't even know what Central Time Zone is. It kind of takes away from the character that he's so dumb. So with Michael, he was not good at school. He only had his good looks, and he knew it. It was part of his character. It was part of what he had to overcome. And in this, it's kind of like they want them to be everything. So they're all smart, but they're all dumb. That's what gives me kind of the Disney vibes that I was mentioning earlier. It's almost as if the problems that the characters would have in the 90s show would immediately get solved within 2 minutes, instead of a slowly developed plot line. In the 70s shows, each individual was figuring out their personalities, who they wanted to be, and who they were. In the 90s show, I see glimpses of that, but with the plot at the end, the biggest question is whether or not Jay is going to end up with Leia. Or Nate, I guess, in regards to the friend group. So it's petty drama compared to an actual character development drama. Hopefully these are real sentences. That's what it seemed like to me. And one of the biggest things that I will add to this is that Leia seems to be, I'm going to try my best to explain this, considering this is my first video doing something like this, but when we saw Eric in that 70s show, we still got to see an in-depth glimpse into the characters and personalities, with their own interactions with their parents or whatever they were going through with couples or with each other. In the 90s show, it felt heavily centered around Leia. I didn't feel as deep as a connection to the side characters as I did with the 70s show. But again, this is the first season. They could be just setting it up, and we'll hopefully in the second seasons or in the future, we'll get to see a little bit more of the interactions between them and get to know the characters a little bit more. I just feel like right now it's just one giant laugh track and I don't really feel connected to the characters.
We had a fish in there.
You love to flush a dead fish.
But he's gonna have to fix the toilet first. It makes a sound like this when you flush.
Honestly, the ones that I feel a connection the most is Kitty and Red. I'll go ahead and insert some clips into what I'm referring to and how quickly the problems were resolved compared to a thought out plot that made you really think, oh man, yeah, that's a real problem. Like, what would I do in that situation? It never really made me think that. I immediately always thought, why is this conversation even happening like this?
I wanted to be there too, but at least I can wish you a happy birthday, you know, before it's too late.
Now, onto the more positive sides of this, because I don't just want to completely bash on it. I did love Red and Kitty. I loved to see them yearn to have kids in their home again. And I loved watching Kitty gain confidence into going back into the workforce. That is not easy, especially when you've been retired for a while. So that was really, really cool to see. I loved Red's interaction with Eric saying, it's your turn now. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I mean? I loved seeing that. I love seeing that father-son connection. And I hope that there's more of that in the future. Even with Donna and Kitty, there was a moment where Kitty wanted Donna to call her mom and she wouldn't, and things like that. So mother-daughter, you know, daughter-in-law, mother-in-law kind of relationship. I hope we get to see a little bit more of that as well into this whole family dynamic. I wonder if we're gonna see Michael and Jackie again, or if they're just gonna kind of be in the background. Understandable though, because Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are very busy actors. I think. I hope. With that being said, if there is a season 2, I am willing to give it a shot. Maybe I'm expecting too much from a sequel, or I'm completely off base. I don't know. I don't know. I just know I wasn't as cooked as I was with this compared to the 70s show. And you guys, let me know what you think. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Anything that I missed? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, share, and everything in between. Yeah. Thanks guys for being my community. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.